This evening, before we read the scriptures as a family, one of my sons, Mikhail, asked, "How how do you end up working in this industry?" And I said, "You need to study. You need to study a lot. You need to study and be good at what you're studying for you to be able to end up working in that place in that industry." And then we started reading the Book of Mormon. We ended up reading 35 chapter 6. And I made mention about verse 12 during our scripture study. It talks about people being distinguished in ranks. It's sad to know that sometimes people who are educated and wealthy ended up discriminating a lot of people. And it happened not just today in our present time, but even before during the Book of Mormon times. This is AD 29 to 30 in 35 chapter 6. In verse 12, it says, "And people began to be distinguished by ranks, according to their riches and their chances for learning. Yea, some were ignorant because of their poverty, and others did receive great learning because of their riches." Being learned is nice. Don't get me wrong. We are encouraged to get learning. I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother and my mom always tell us, referring to education or seeking education, uh, they always say, "Iyon ni ang maipapamana mi sa Indo," in Bicol. In English, that means that's the only thing that we can pass on to you, referring again to education. So, and now as an adult, as a father myself, as a parent of four kids, we ended up sounding like my mom and my grandmother. We always tell our kids to seek learning, to study, be good at what you're studying. And it's nice to seek education, but there's a warning when it comes to seeking education. There's another account in the Book of Mormon in Second Nephi chapter 9 where Jacob, the brother of Nephi, was giving a discourse to his family and his people. It's recorded in Second Nephi chapter 9, verse 29. Again, in Jacob, during his discourse, said about a warning about seeking education or being learned. He said, "But to be learned is good, if they hearken unto the counsels of God." So don't get me wrong, seeking education is very important. My wife and I graduated college when we have already three kids. We have four now, but back then when we graduated college, we had three kids. We graduated on the same year, by the way. So yeah, getting education is very important. Teaching our children to seek education is also important, but there's a warning. According to Jacob in Second Nephi chapter 9, verse 29, being learned is good if we hearken unto the counsels of God. There's a quote from Elder Dieter F. Uchtdorf, now President Uchtdorf, about a commandment for us members of the church. He said, "For members of the church, education is not merely a good idea, it is a commandment." So yeah, it's a commandment for us. Even now, we're still pursuing education or planning to pursue education. If you are pursuing education yourself, if you are planning as well, if you're a student or um, a graduate of any course and you still plan to pursue any additional education, postgraduate or masteral or doctorate, well, pursue it. Um, we're not against it. Um, in fact, the brethren are encouraging us to seek education. Again, It is a commandment for us. Another quote that I like from President Donald H. Oaks about the command to seek learning. He mentioned two ways wherein we can seek learning. He said in his book, The Lord's Way, quote, "We are commanded to seek learning by study, the way of reason, and by faith, the way that relies on revelation. Both are pleasing to God. He uses both ways to reveal light and knowledge to his children. But when it comes to a knowledge of God and his principles of his gospel, we must give primacy to revelation because that is the Lord's way." End quote. So um, I would encourage you to seek education in any form, either formal education or non-formal education. It doesn't matter. So long as it's productive, you're making a change, you're blessing the lives of people, especially your family. Whatever kind of education that is, it will be beneficial for you and your family, not just today, but in the future. Yeah. So stop watching this and go study your Come Follow Me lessons.